Congratulations, your property is under contract. This is the first step to getting your home sold. So we have two kinds of offers. One is the financing offer, and with the financing offer you have three contingencies. You have the inspection contingency, you have the appraisal contingency, and the financing contingency. So with those three contingencies, the buyer has the opportunity to back out of the contract. So let's talk about inspection contingency, because we will have that contingency also on a cash offer. Depending on how long the inspection period is, most of the time it's between 10 and 15 days, the buyer has an opportunity to inspect the property and can cancel for any reason. They don't even need to provide an inspection report, or they don't need to show proof that anything is wrong with the unit, or they can just change their mind and they can back out. Okay? Once we have passed the inspection contingency, which is one of the biggest contingencies in the beginning, we're one step further to the closing. So some people cancel because they change their mind, they find a better property, or they just don't like the property or find too many things wrong with the property. Sometimes they come back to us and ask for a credit. We can agree to a credit or we can deny the credit. It's all up to you, and it depends on how many damages the property has. Okay? So once we're done with then we have the appraisal contingency. A certified appraiser will come out to the property and I will provide him with comps, and then he gives a valuation on the property. If the appraisal comes in low and below the purchase price, the bank will only loan on the appraised value of the property. So we have a few scenarios. We can either lower the price to the appraised value, the buyer can come up with the difference, or we meet somewhere in the middle. If we don't find an agreement, the buyer can cancel the contract. And the last contingency on a financed contract is the financing contingency. If, let's say, the buyer loses his job, or his income doesn't work out the way he said in the beginning he disclosed in the beginning to the lender, then the financing will not work out, and in that case the buyer will be refunded his full deposit and can cancel the contract. So, second scenario, you have a cash buyer. If you have a cash buyer, you're in luck, because the only contingency you have is the inspection contingency. So depending on the length of that contingency, let's say it's 7 days, if those 7 days have passed and the buyer has not canceled the contract, he has to move forward or he will lose his deposit. That's basically it. I mean, there is a few other smaller contingencies, like the title search, that you must provide the title, which the title agency will work on, so that's out of your hands. But if we can't provide a clear title to the buyer, that would also be a loophole for the contract. But don't worry too much about those things, because that's why we have a title agency and that's what they are working on. So this is basically it about the contingencies. Once all contingencies have been waived or have passed, we have a hard contract, as we call it, and we're getting ready to close, and we're going to closing. So for closing, you either come in person, you bring 2 copies of IDs, or you have a mail-away closing where you meet a notary or a real estate lawyer in your town or in your wherever you are right now, and you sign there. Either way is a possibility, and it should be very smooth. You have a beautiful day. I hope this was helpful to you.